Welcome back to students. In the last lecture we have completed our preparation of alkyl and aryl halides as well as their physical property. Now we are moving towards the chemical properties of alkyl and aryl halide. Before moving to the chemical properties of alkyl and aryl halide, we must have some knowledge about the isomers. We have read about the isomers in class 11. As we know, isomers can be divided into two categories: structural isomers and stereoisomers. The structural isomers has 5 or 6 kinds: chain isomer, positional isomer, functional group isomer, metamer, tautomer, or many. In some cases we can also say cyclic chain isomer or the branch chain isomer. Now the another kind of is stereoisomer. What is stereoisomers? The compound which have same molecular formula and structure but may differ in their arrangement of constituent particles. The compounds have same molecular formula and structure but may differ in their arrangement, then it is known as stereoisomer. Stereoisomer of two types: conformational and configurational. We have already studied about the conformational isomer. Isomers in class 11. Now we are dealing with configurational isomers. The configurational isomers are of two types: geometrical and optical. The class 11th we have discussed about the geometrical isomers, the EZ isomer. Now we are dealing with the optical isomers. Before proceeding to the chemical properties of alkyl and aryl halide, we must know what is optical isomer. So we move to the next page. If we know the optical isomers, so there are very simple definition. What is optical isomer? The isomers which are the stereoisomers which are non-superimposable to their mirror images. More than one stereoisomer which are the non-superimposable mirror images are known as optical isomers. More than one stereoisomer which are non-superimposable to each other are known as optical isomer. I repeat again, the stereoisomers which are non-superimposable with each other are known as optical isomers. Now the optical isomers of two types, whether they can be optically active or optically inactive. The optically active isomers can be known as enantiomers or diastereomers, whereas the optically inactive is always a diastereomer. It can't be an enantiomer. First we move to the optical activity. What is optical activity? As we know, there is a term PPL, plane polarized light. This one, there is a term PPL, plane polarized light. As we know, if we have any light source and a light source, from a light source there is a light coming out. So light has photon, and from a natural source or an artificial source, if a light is coming out, then their photonic vibration will be all plane, just like this plane, that plane, this one, that one. So if from a source light is coming out, then they have photonic vibrations, or then they have photons which has the vibration in each and every level. If these light, whether it is come from the natural source or the man-made source, is allowed to pass through a prism which is known as Nicol prism, their photonic vibration which are earlier present in the various plane or in the all planes must be localized into a same plane. This same plane, if the lights has a photons which has a photonic vibration in one plane only, then it is known as plane polarized light. The lights which has photonic vibration situated or located into one plane only is known as plane polarized light. From a source, if light is coming out, then it has a photon which has vibration level in each and every plane. But when this light is allowed to pass through the Nicol prism, their photonic vibration localized in a same plane or in a one plane, it is known as plane polarized light. Now we have this plane polarized light. If this plane polarized light is allowed to pass from a sample, and the plane of the photonic vibration changes. Here the photonic vibration plane is this, here the plane of photonic vibration is this, then the compound or the sample is known as optically active. I repeat, when a PPL is allowed, the plane polarized light is allowed to pass through a sample and their photonic vibrations changes. then it is known as PPL, plane polarized light. Here this one is PPL. The PPL is first going to the analyzer, and analyzer give, then the photonic vibration has 90-degree angle with respect to the photonic vibration has 90-degree angle with respect to the line of propagation. This one is the line of propagation and this one is the photonic vibration. So from the line of propagation and photonic vibration has 90-degree angle. This can be observed by using an analyzer before passing to the sample. Now this light is passing to the sample. Surely the photonic vibration changes. Now the photonic vibration has this one. If we see that it is the line of propagation and this one is photonic vibration, so the angle is more than 90-degree. So it clearly shown us then the planes of the PPL moving from the right hand side direction or as clockwise, then it is known as dextro-rotatory compound. Let's suppose if photonic vibration is in this plane, that one, this type is the photonic vibration is in this plane, then it rotates from anti-clockwise manner. Now the angle between the new photonic vibration and the line of incident is more than 90-degree, so it is anti-clockwise rotation. It is known as LEVO, L-E-A-V-O, levorotatory compound. So if a PPL passing through a sample and PPL is rotating clockwise, then it is known as dextrorotatory compound, denoted by small d or plus sign. If it is rotating anti-clockwise, then it is known as levorotatory compound. Symbol is small l or minus. Clear? So what is PPL? If the photonic vibration of a light is localized into a single plane, then it is known as plane polarized light. If a plane polarized light is passing through a sample and the plane of the PPL rotates from either clockwise or anti-clockwise, then it is known as optically active compound. If the plane of PPL rotating clockwise, then it is known as dextrorotatory compound, denoted by small d or plus sign. If it is rotating anti-clockwise, then it is known as levorotatory compound, denoted by symbol small l or minus. Clear? Now we are dealing with these two terms, the term enantiomer and diastereomer. These are the very important terms, enantiomer and diastereomer. What is the definition of enantiomer? A pair of stereoisomers of a compound which are non-superimposable mirror images of each other. As we see, if we look at ourselves, if we wear a shirt and we look ourselves in the mirror, so in the mirror we have our mirror images and which is non-superimposable to us. If our pocket is on left hand side, then in the mirror it will be seen in the right hand side. It will be seen in the right hand side. So if we have a pair of stereoisomer of a compound, single compound, एक ही compound है, if we have a one compound and we have a two stereoisomers of that compound and which are the non-superimposable mirror images of each other, then it is known as enantiomer, E-N-A-N-T-I-O-M-E-R. I repeat, a pair of stereoisomer of a compound which are non-superimposable mirror images of each other are known as enantiomer. But if we have a stereoisomer of a compound and which are not mirror images of each other, both are the same compound, but both structures show the same compound, but they are not the mirror images of each other, then they are known as diastereomer. We can also see like this. If you have heard about identical twins in biology. Identical twins means the twins which has same genome. Identical twins. Okay. The twins which has same genome. So if we have the identical twins or a twins, both are boys or both are girls, then they both are the mirror images of each other. But they are not the superimposable because their size or their structure may different. So they are the identical twins. In chemistry can be termed as enantiomer. But if we have real brothers, real sister or real brother and sister, then they are known as diastereomer because their parents are same. So if a compound is same, like the parents are same, and they are not the mirror images of each other and they are the stereoisomer, then they are known as stereoisomer. If the parents or the compound is same, parents or compound is same, but they are the mirror images of each other, then they are known as enantiomer, just like identical twins. Now we move to the next point. It is clear? Now, stereo center over stereo carbon. To go to this, we first discuss this. What is stereo center and what is stereo carbon? Look at that, student. As we know, carbon is carbon, if it is in sp3 hybridized state, it is tetrahedral in nature. It has a 4 single bond. If 2 bonds, this one and that one are in the plane, then the one bond is above the plane and other one is below the plane. Okay? Clear? If all these 4 valencies of a tetrahedral carbon is satisfied by the 4 different constituents like A, B, C and D, then the such carbon is known as stereo center. And if a carbon is a stereo center or asymmetric carbon or stereo center or stereo carbon, it is denoted by the asterisk sign above the carbon, this one. So if all the 4 valencies of a carbon are satisfied by 4 different constituents, then it is known as stereo center of a carbon. Then if the carbon is known as stereo center or asymmetric carbon. This point has capability to rotate ppl. Now this one is the mirror image. If we put this structure to this structure, so logically the B has over about D, so they are the non-superimposable mirror images of each other, then they both are enantiomer to each other. Stereo center. So what is stereo center or asymmetric center or asymmetric carbon? If all the 4 valencies of a carbon satisfied by 4 different constituents, then it is known as asymmetric carbon. Clear? Just like this, the carbon has 1 hydrogen, bromine, chlorine and iodine. That is it is a stereo center, and if we exchange, then we have another structure. This one. This point is clear? I repeat again, if all the 4 valencies of a carbon satisfied by the 4 different constituents, then it is known as stereo center or asymmetric center or stereo carbon or asymmetric carbon. Remember one thing, each stereo center has capability to rotate plane polarized light. I repeat again, each stereo center has capability to rotate plane polarized light. That means the presence of stereo center is sufficient condition for chirality. What is chirality? We will discuss later. You remember, just think, if all the valencies of an atom satisfied by the different constituents, then this atom or this point is known as a stereo center or asymmetric center, and the stereo center or asymmetric center can rotate plane polarized light. If a compound is rotating plane polarized light, then it is optically active. If a compound is not rotating plane polarized light, then it is optically inactive. If a compound is optically active and it has its mirror images, and the mirror image and the first mirror image and the original compound are non-superimposable to each other, then they are known as enantiomer. If we have a compound, it has different stereoisomer. But if we pick any 2, 3 or 4 structure and they are not mirror images, then they are known as distereomer. This point can be cleared by using example of tartaric acid. Here we have tartaric acid as an example. It is known as tartaric acid. This structure is tartaric acid. This one is the number 1, 2, 3 and 4 carbon. Okay? Then this carbon has a 4 different constituents, 1 OH, 1 H, 1 COH and 1 rest of this molecule. This one is also has the same 4 group. It has this mirror image. This one, if we draw its mirror image, then the OH which is present on the right hand side will be on the left hand side. This H will be on the left hand side. This and this will be on the right hand side. So it is known as tartaric acid. If it is rotating ppl clockwise, then it is plus or dextrorotatory. If it is rotating anti-clockwise, then it is minus or levorotatory. Now this one, what if both OH are on same side and both H are on the same side? Then it is known as mesotartaric acid. Now they both are not the mirror images of each other, then they are distereomer. Of each other. If we draw the mirror image of this structure, then the structure and its mirror image are the enantiomer. The structure and the mirror image are the enantiomer because the structure and its mirror image are non-superimposable to each other. But this structure is not the mirror image of that one. Then it is known as then it is known as diastereomer. And because the structure can be divided into two parts from this, look at the cursor, from this plane we can divide in this structure into two parts, then we have a term mesotartric acid, because if a structure can divide into two parts and the both half of the structure are mirror image of each other, if a structure can divide into two parts and both half are the superimposable mirror images of each other, then such stereoisomer is known as mesoisomer. I repeat, if a stereoisomer can be divided into two parts and both half of the structure or both part of the structure are the superimposable mirror image, then the stereoisomer would termed as mesotartric acid. And remember one thing, the meso compound is always inactive. The meso compound is always inactive, whereas the enantiomers are the optically active. Diastereomers can also be optically active or optically inactive. For an example, this one and this one structure are diastereomer of each other. This one is optically active while the other one is optically inactive. If we have the mirror image of this structure, then the both structure are the optically active, because neither of the structure can be divided into two parts, and the both parts are the superimposable mirror images. Then these both pair, the structure and its mirror image is known as enantiomer. Point clear? Now we move to the next section. Here is a complete diagram. As we know, the isomers, different compound with same molecular formula. The isomers are named depending upon this. They can be constitutional isomer or the structural isomer or stereoisomer. Stereoisomer can be conformational and configurational. Conformational we have discussed earlier. The conformer isomer, the configurational isomers as the enantiomer. Stereoisomer, which are the non-superimposable mirror images of each other, are the enantiomer. A diastereomer, stereoisomer, which are not the mirror images, are known as diastereomers. Here, look at this. Look at this. The enantiomer, they both are the mirror image. They both are the mirror images of each other, but they both cannot be superimposed to each other. Then they are the enantiomer. The mesotartric. This one is the tartric acid. This one is the plus tartric acid, and this one is the mirror images. They both are the non-superimposable mirror images of each other. Then they are known as enantiomer. Then they are known, one is dextrorotatory plus, then another one is levorotatory minus. If in enantiomer there is a pair of compound, if one compound is dextrorotatory, then the other compound will be levorotatory. This one is the mesotartric acid. Both this one and that one, these structure can be divided into two parts. The structure can be divided into two parts from this end. This can be divided into two parts from this end. This can be divided into two parts from this end. But these two parts are not the superimposable mirror images. These two parts are not the superimposable mirror images, but this part and that part are the superimposable mirror images. So if we have a stereoisomer which can be divided into two parts and the both part are the superimposable mirror image, then it is known as meso compound. Like this one is tartric acid, so mesotartric acid. This one is plus or dextrorotatory tartric acid. This one is minus or levorotatory tartric acid. So these both, the dextro and levorotatory tartric acid, are the enantiomers, whereas mesotartric acid and dextrorotatory tartric acid are diastereomers of each other. Similarly, the mesotartric acid and the levorotatory tartric acid are also diastereomers of each other. Mesotartric acid has diastereomeric relationship with either of the enantiomer. That means positive or dextrorotatory tartric acid or negative or levorotatory tartric acid. This one is the basic concept of the optical isomerization. Go through that. We will discuss the later on in the next lecture.